Right, and here's where the opportunity lies for all of you out there, and for everyone in the world, and for companies all over the world. They're going to be seeing a market. They're going to be seeing several markets emerge. There's hybrids. There's hybrid battery technology, and there's the HHO technology. Now, as the HHO technology really takes off, both small and large companies are going to be looking at this to get into it, either by building a kit and selling it online, or you're going to have small garages all over Connecticut and all over the world thinking, hey, I mean, we could buy a kit and we can offer a service of installing it just like the group in Tallinn did.
That's absolutely right. And did you know that in Africa, all the bus transit fleets are all converting their vehicles over to these hydrogen hybrid kits? And they're getting the same exact fuel cell that I'm buying from Brazil. They're going to Africa by the thousands right now and being installed in all transit buses around Africa. So America better catch up, because the rest of the world is getting farther ahead in the renewable energy age. I think it's time for us to put our foot down and start hiring people and creating economic development and get these humans, these Americans, into the next era here.
That's a good point. Right now, China is capitalizing on renewable energy. I saw an article a couple days ago where China is building their plants to build windmills. And they're building these, I mean, you know what China can do. They can mass produce anything cheaply. So America has to get with it and really keep up and or do what we've done for generations and lead the world.
That's correct. Well, America has a tremendously amount of hydroelectric plants already in place. Wind technology is what's really taking hold in America, and along with solar on a solar farm basis or on a microelectric producer like myself, where I have 8 kilowatts of solar at my home residence, providing all the energy and electricity that my home will ever need, and then some for my neighbors. So as this era moves on, and this generation and this revolution keeps going and growing, more and more people are going to be educated and going into this industry, and that will take up the 10% unemployment that we have today here in America.
Right, and that could be like we had the industrial revolution. A decade ago we had the information revolution.
Right.
Now we're looking at a renewable energy revolution. It could
Exactly.
provide a lot of jobs in this country. If we start building windmills and solar right here, with the coming carbon legislation that's coming,
Right.
maybe we should talk about that now.
Yeah, the carbon footprint legislation is something that every human on planet Earth here is going to need to know. While Americans are taxed on their income, taxed on their homes, taxed on their personal property, and taxed on their cars, believe it or not, we're now going to be taxed on how much we pollute in the air. It's going to be carbon footprinting tax. And there are over 100 nations in the world that are already looking at this from the same page.
Right. And you may be saying, well, that's not fair. I don't want to pay a tax on this. You may not believe in global warming, and that's okay. The reality is, whether you believe in global warming or not, whether you believe in carbon as a maybe it's not consequential to you, or maybe you view carbon as a problem in our atmosphere. The fact is, with rising oil prices, carbon's going to get more expensive. Oil's going to get more expensive, and lawmakers are looking at this. They're seeing the storms that are hitting the U.S. They're seeing the melting of the ice caps. And there's a lot of pressure to do something, and this is the answer.
We've just had one of the largest tsunamis last year hit Indonesia, and within the last month, one of the largest typhoons hit southern Asia. And these storms are going to continue to happen because our planet is at 390 parts per million of carbon in the atmosphere, and if that keeps growing, the polar ice caps will continue to melt, which would change the environment in which we live in. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's definitely happening, in a very fast manner right now.
Exactly. And maybe, Norman, you want to mention the 350.org movement and what you're doing with it.
Correct. There's an international organization called 350.org. It involves over 120 countries and has thousands and thousands of renewable energy projects like mine here in Wellington, Connecticut. And what we're doing is all universities around the world, all colleges, all governments, people, everybody is getting on this movement so that everybody can show everybody how to go green, how to not create as much carbon the way you currently live now, okay, and then show the rest of the world how to do it. So 350.org is having an International Climate Change Day, and that's October 24th. It starts this year, and I'm pretty sure the government will say that October will be Climate Month, Climate Change Month. It's coming up, obviously. And our farm and residence and renewable energy site is one of the featured international sites coming up here on October 24th here in Wellington, Connecticut, USA. And there are thousands of projects like this that are going to be showcased all around the world all at the same time. And the goal of humans is to get the 350 means the global ice, the ice caps will stop melting when the parts per million goes down to 350 parts per million. And then the ice caps will start expanding, and then humans can try to regulate the amount of carbon needed in the atmosphere and the amount of carbon not needed in the atmosphere to sustain human life for the next couple hundred years or more, if humans can get that far.
Right. Now, say you don't believe in global warming. Let's take a look at that. Now, Norman is a financial analyst. He's got a great background in economics. And let's take a look at, okay, so you don't believe in global warming. You think it's a natural process. Maybe it's self-correcting. Maybe not. Maybe you are of the view that we don't know what's really happening. The fact is, oil prices are still going to go up. And maybe, Norman, you could speak about a little on where oil is going to be in a year or 2 years from now.
Yes, oil prices and global natural resources are what they call cyclical. They go up and down with the curves of the economies of the world. Obviously, last year was one of the top curves of oil, where it reached $150 a barrel or beyond, you know. And there are economists out there that are going to say that oil is going to get to the $200 and $300 a barrel mark. When that happens, that will take out all the discretionary income of what Americans save, and that's going to be extremely harmful to the economics of not only America but the rest of the world. So I think, you know, right now gas and oil is cheap, but it's going to go up in price again, thus spurring more green revolution movement.